Why don't we turn the Nile water issue from a disuniting issue to a cooperative issue?
I agree with you 100%. But
so if you all agree and the Egyptians agree, where is the problem then?
But if it's going to be a cooperative agreement, I have to accept that you should benefit, and you have to accept that I should benefit. There should be mutual recognition of each other's interest. 1959 agreement does not recognize the interest of 7 of the 9 countries. It recognizes the interest of 2 countries. And so long as you insist that only the interest of the 2 countries matter, then you are closing the door for cooperation. The first step for cooperation is recognition of each other's interest and recognition of the need of a win-win solution. That is what we are lacking now.
Why don't we just stop talking about these treaties and start the cooperation? Let's do it the other way around. Do you accept this kind of idea? Let's stop talking about the treaties. Let's the Commission talk. The negotiations go on, and let's start talking and working on cooperation issues.
If we agree that these old agreements are left aside and that we need to work on a new alternative, we have no problem. We should be able to talk about it.
So what's your opinion or what's your vision about the initiative of this High Commission for the Basin countries, which has been put on the table from Egyptian and the Sudanese?
I have not heard about this proposal yet.
It has been put, there is an Egyptian initiative from President Mubarak and President Bashir for a high commission for the Basin countries to carry out the investment projects and development on the all people of the basin. You don't hear about it?
Well, the idea is not just about a high commission. The idea is about not discussing water utilization at all. Now, you can't promote cooperation by not discussing the issue of water utilization at all. We have to discuss it, but we have to set the treaties aside and we have to discuss it. My proposal to both President Bashir and President Mubarak was this. Okay, the upper riparian countries, the 7 countries have signed an agreement. In Europe, there is what they call variable geometry. Mm-hmm. Those countries that move 2 steps together, they move 2 steps together. Mm-hmm. Those countries that move 1 step together, they move 1 step together. So the 7 countries, if they move 2 steps together, let them move. Then 7 countries and Egypt and Sudan together, if they can only move 1 step, let them discuss about this 1 step. Mm-hmm. So in the case of Egypt and Sudan, for example, Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan have a 20-year plan mm-hmm. for utilization of the Nile. We can discuss this and we can have an agreement on this, and we can come back to the water issue at a later stage. Mm-hmm. But Egypt should not insist that the agreement between Uganda and Ethiopia should be erased. This is we have not insisted that the agreement between Sudan and Egypt should be erased. Mm-hmm. We have just said, let's discuss a new alternative. So, as far as the agreement between Ethiopia, Uganda, and the other 7 countries is concerned, it is here to stay. But this does not mean the end of negotiation between Ethiopia and Egypt and Sudan, or the 7 countries and Egypt and Sudan. They should negotiate, and they can agree on cooperative projects. At a later stage, maybe 10 years from now, 5 years from now, we can come back and discuss the division of the mm-hmm. of the water.
Have you reached to a block end for this issue, or do you think you are optimistic about the future of the relation between the whole basin countries?
I told you, as far as Ethiopia and Egypt are concerned, there is no possibility of divorce. There's always some quarrel, mm-hmm. but there is no possibility of divorce. Mm-hmm. So this is just one quarrel among many. Mm-hmm. There will not be divorce between Ethiopia and Egypt. Mm-hmm. We'll continue to work together, we'll continue to discuss. Sometimes we quarrel, sometimes we agree. That has been the case for thousands of years, so there is nothing new. Some quarrel today, we'll manage it, we'll move forward. We'll find an agreement maybe 5 years from now or 5 months from now, I don't know, but we'll find an agreement. But there is no possibility of breaking Egypt and Ethiopia. The Nile has sewn the two countries together. It is impossible to break them apart.
Yeah. So in this case, if you are talking about we can have another 5 years, we can reach to an agreement after 5 years also, why did you put a period of 1 year for Egypt and Sudan to sign the agreement, or what's going on after that? What are you going to do after this year?
We have suspended. You see, we agreed, the 7 countries agreed.
5.
Yes, 5, but the 2 others are also coming up. They agreed, but they are not going to implement their agreement for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
If Sudan and Egypt come and join us in 1 year, then all of us will start at the same time. If Egypt and Sudan do not join us in 1 year, the 7 countries will go together, and the 7 will then negotiate with Egypt and Sudan on a different agreement. So the 1 year is suspending of the agreement. We have signed it, but it is not implemented. It is suspended for 1 year.
Can you reach to another agreement, to suspend this agreement for another few years until you reach to the agreement which you are looking for, and we can all together reach to it?
Can Sudan and Egypt suspend the 1959 agreement for 1 year or 2 years?
Can we put cooperation first before talking about treaties and agreements?
It's the same thing, you see. The agreement between Egypt and Sudan has not stopped us from negotiating.
Yeah.
The agreement between the 7 countries should not stop us from negotiating. We are putting for us an agreement similar to the 1959 agreement. The only difference is the agreement we signed does not consider Sudan and Egypt as beggars of the Nile water. It considers them as stakeholders. Whereas 1959 agreement considers the 7 countries not as stakeholders, but as beggars. That is the only difference. So let this agreement stay where it is. Let the Egyptian-Sudanese agreement stay where it is. Let's negotiate on a new way of moving forward, a win-win alternative. It can be done.
If I ask you to give a short statement to the Egyptian people about this issue in a couple of sentences, what are you going to tell them?
I'm going to tell them no project in Ethiopia is designed to starve or fundamentally harm Egypt. Ever. This will not happen. This is not happening. Second, when some uninformed newspapers tell you that some dam is being built by this or that country in Ethiopia and you are going to starve, they are telling you absolute, total lies. Because the dams that are built in Ethiopia are also to your benefit. When some newspapers tell you that Ethiopians should go hungry for Egyptians to eat, they are telling you a lie. Egypt and Ethiopia can eat together on the basis of the Nile.